I flinched. The grabber secured against my nostrils as I collapsed to a kneel. Okay, sorry. I begged him. Okay, sorry. I begged him in my now nasal tone. How? That's really awkward, though. I imagine that's not great, but whatever. Because a human nose is pliable, but, like, snouts are not like that at all. Dog noses ain't like that, buddy. I mean, kind of, but that's because of how dogs work. They have special, weird noses designed for airflow. In this winter arc, may I offer you a Monster Energy TM Ultra Zero in these Olivia mercifully relinquishing her grabber. Now it's my grabber, because you've relinquished it. Shooting a fake glare at Naser. I can't believe you gave me away like that, bro. He crossed his arms, trying not to chuckle as he shook his head. Sorry, Anna. I wasn't gonna let you sneak up on Olivia. Thanks for that. By the way, what took you so long? I shrugged. Wasn't sure how to explain what had happened just now. Deciding to settle on a much simpler truth. Just practicing some guitar in music class. Might have gotten a bit carried away. So what were you two talking about us just now? Homework and other things, Olivia answered. Naser seemed to realize something. Speaking of which. He checked his phone, his eyes were I should start heading back. I need to study. See you Sunday, Anon. Yep, I'll send you our address to come pick us up. Naser nodded with a smile before turning back to Olivia. And Olivia? He awkwardly rubbed the side of his neck. You're such an Injun. Isn't gonna be anything dangerous, is it? Olivia shook her head. I don't think so. They're just gonna do some head scans. They're gonna see if my brain makes sense. Alright. Naser said with a slow nod, this time with more confidence. Alright. I can't wait to show you around Kocodero Bluffs on Sunday. The smile grew in Olivia's snout as well. And I can't wait to see it. An intercourse with Naser's sister. What? You can't just say that. That's crimes. What's this? Cat. Cat. People are posting cats in cute little kitties doing silly little things. Anyway. Naser, not again, stooped down, reaching his hands out, probably hoping for an awkward goodbye hug. What? Yet it was one... Oh. So he's going for a hug and he used a contradiction? Casually reciprocated, engaging her brakes before reaching her arms out to accept it. Naser slightly leaning into her. Two of them embracing. Yeah, that's the action you've just described, I guess. It was a heartwarming sight, one I couldn't help but smile about. Everybody smiling! Before noticing it go on much longer than I had thought it would. The party seemed to be in a hurry to separate. Olivia having closed her eyes, letting out a sigh, leaning to the side of her short green hand to his neck. All the while Naser's good wings seemed to instinctively do that protective, possessive gesture I've seen her do many times before, draping over her, albeit this time with the back of her wheelchair and spanning over the baryonyx like a roof. Though I hadn't gotten any full admittance from Olivia yet, it was pretty obvious the two had feelings for each other, reenacted after being separated for so long. A little later, I figured that out, buddy. And after going well into a minute, I could sense that Naser seemed to finally realize he was running late, slightly stirring in their grasps. Olivia? It took her a moment to respond, because she paused. She was pausing! Yeah, I should really get going now, can you? Her reaction was instantaneous, silver yellow eyes widening as she unwrapped her arms around him, and fell back into her chair. Yet due to the speed at which she suddenly did so, it left Naser without any support whatsoever, his arms flailing about in a good wing trying to steady him. Before the inevitable happened, the pterodactyl falling forward a surprise gap. The end of Naser's... They already kissed! Yabingus? It was a whole fucking thing. Why did I feel like I was watching a scene in a romantic novel? Because this happened in Super Mario RPG! In a sense. Olivia blushed. Naser was doing something similar. I mean, they already had a kiss. Like, you can't do the kiss twice. Unless there's, like, a big moment. And, like, it really doesn't feel like they're making up for anything. It's like they're just being weird about it. And then he leaves. Olivia? She didn't respond as I briefly looked around, holding a claw out of her eyes. Drawing my scaly palm up and down. Hello, Earth to Olivia. Yeah. I smiled, trying to keep the shit-eatingness out of my grin. Like, why don't you just say, trying to keep the shit-eatingness out of my grin? That's good enough. That's all you need. Like, you could reduce the amount of snout saturation just by writing a bit different. Probably should save that expression for when you and Naser start dating again. Were they dating, though? I think they were just kind of hanging out, not really fully realizing it. Not cognizant. In all honesty, I expected to grab her there and then, but to my surprise, I was found that I was still standing. Except noticing a new expression on Olivia's face, she peered down. Looked like guilt? Olivia? Is everything okay? She looked away, brakes coming off, and the wheelchair turned around, giving a clear indication she wanted to me to hop on back so we could go home. I mean, I personally would love it if you misinterpret it and you jump on and you fucking fall over like a gormless fool. But no, the writer doesn't want to have characters have conflict where they might not. The perfect setup for, like, a breach between the characters. No. We live in Disneyland. It's not good writing, because Disneyland doesn't care about the writing. Pop, pop. Pop, pop. Saturday arrived. Saturday. Oh no, it doesn't have the same charm to it. Although it was finally the weekend, the busyness of the wiki days hadn't seemed to end. Continuing on with bringing Olivia to a first trial at Ingen. Dr. Wu had already had everything set up. The rooms booked and the equipment ready. Why would he tell you anything about that? Wouldn't he just go, yeah, come to this room at this time? But it was still a long process as Mom and Dad and I sat in the hallway. An air of anxiousness, despite the lack of any danger Olivia was in. My parents occasionally exchanging passing but quiet conversation. After a few more tense moments, I'm impressed that it took a few fucking moments for this to happen. The door finally opened to reveal Olivia in a patient gown, rolling herself forward as Dr. Wu walked beside her. The Trudon announced good news. The scan went without any issues. I mean, I'd be surprised if something went wrong. Honestly, I'd probably be fucking surprised if something went wrong. I mean, sure, we've scanned some people and they turned into zombies, but that was because we had the brain scanner set to brain soul-sucking mode. I don't know why we have that mode, I just think it's funny. Three of us stood up as I picked Olivia's backpack off the floor, stuffed with her clothes, before heading over alongside my parents. How are you holding up, Olivia? Fine, Uncle Ed. Oh, I'd rather get out of wearing this as soon as possible. That was pretty much... No, you're talking about C-U-E, not the line. Handing her backpack as Olivia gracefully snatched it. They figured it out before rolling away, and I was guiding her where the changing rooms were. With that out of the way, I turned to see my parents conversing with Dr. Wu. And my man, I assure you that... Hold on. As I was told, right? The way this works is like, when these scans happen, right, the scans are made by a radiologist. They're made by someone whose job is, I take pictures of your brain all day, called a radiologist, I think, or a tech, but not a doctor. They're not a doctor, per se. They're a guy who makes funny pictures, and maybe they analyze them. I don't know how that exactly works. Dr. Wu should not be doing this if he's the physician, okay? I don't think Dr. Wu should be the one doing this if this is like a proper health institution, because he's more like the general, you know, the guy who organizes everything, gets the experts together, probably administers some of the therapy, but not the guy who takes the fucking pictures and analyzes them. In addition, most of the time, unless you're dealing with like bone x-rays, they're going to be looking at those pictures for a while going, you know, double checking, making sure. You don't check pictures in like the hour it takes to make them, is the problem I have. Unless, you know, they got that fancy AI, I guess. And And it's good to see that the patterns we see overlap with many other scans we have in our database, with the added bonus of being much clearer now since we got new equipment. I mean, I mostly got that equipment by beating the shit out of the guy who said we weren't going to get it. Don't ask me how I did it. I assure you, I took a lot of drugs. Combat drugs are a hell of a drug, kids. He looked at me, and I wasn't sure if he was trying to sell me or something. That's good to hear. So what comes next for Olivia? For now, Dr. Wu held up a tablet and then lowered it again. We're going to have to do more scans in the coming weeks and some short tests. See what may potentially stimulate those deactivated nerves. I turned them off using this light switch, but it doesn't turn them back on again. I'm sorry to tell you, buddy. They pay us by hours and not patients. You know, personally, I would have preferred to take a couple more hours with Olivia. I get paid by the hour, you know? We just sit there, talk about the weather, you know? Why are you making it sound so ominous? I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable if people think I'm doing a good job. The doctor nodded in understanding. Sounds good, Doctor. I also wanted to know about... I turned to see Olivia exiting the changing room, back in her usual clothes, as I began walking towards her, leaving my parents and the doctor continued a conversation, not out of earshot to talk with baryonyx. So, what'd they have you do? Well, they put me through an MRI scanner and all that. That takes like an hour or something. That's just pretty long. Not much different than what we did when I was first, diagnosed. They also put me in this weird helmet with like wires coming out of the top. Kind of gives me an idea. Was it another way to scan your head? I think so. They also wanted me to do stuff like trying to move my legs. Obviously it didn't work, but they seemed satisfied after a few seconds. Hopefully Dr. Wu learned something from it. I agreed and gave her a smile. Unless I gotta meet up with NASA tomorrow. You think anyway you want them to take us? Not yet. Hey, what's been eating at you? That obvious, huh? It's just, doing a lot of thinking lately. Yeah, about homework? I mean, it's not the easiest homework, but come on, Olivia, don't be such a coward. Yeah? About what? About Naser. About me. I'm not sure if, I'm not right or anything. Maybe, Naser still might have feelings for me. I recall the hurried confession he had dropped on me during PE. My promise was a promise. Choosing not to disclose what he had disclosed with me. Yeah, how'd you figure? What was that? My phone buzzing. Oh yeah. Just, hold on. Just dismiss. It's just gonna bother me again. Get out of here. Bada boom, bada bing. Says Dr. Professor Patrick. Just the way he's been acting around me. Differently from the way he treats others. But the same as if we were together, minus the kissing. Not counting after school yesterday. But the thing is, I still have feelings for him. Well then what's the fucking problem? I have feelings and he have feelings, but we dated before, but it's so hard. It's like, come on, man. At this point, you're just making things needlessly complicated. I love him and he loves me and we have engagement rings and we're going to get married soon, but I don't know if I can tell him I love him. They also implanted this purple egg thing. And when I ask what it was, the doc says it's an egg donated by a Lord Sadler donor? I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's another thing in me. Also, I don't know why, but I'm fluent in Spanish. And then she says something. No, that's not Spanish, that's Portuguese. Sadler always makes that mistake. Well, at least you can go to Brazil. I don't want to go to Brazil. Well, they don't speak Spanish. They don't speak Portuguese in Mexico. Or Spain. Just can't help it. After all these years, he's still the same kind, gentle, lovable pterodactyl I knew from 7th grade. So what's the plan? The plan? Well, I guess this Sunday I'll just tell him that. I quietly listened, imagining Naser react when time came. I told Naser that things won't work out between us. Hold on. Hold on. Did we just actually pull a fucking heel turn? Hell yeah, bitch! Hold the phone. Shit. God damn it. Just get me out of here. I need a bad song. What? Took me a moment to realize what Olivia had just said. My brain registering her words and still in disbelief as my eyes widened, mouth wide open. I finally understood that look of guilt she'd been having, or unable to meet my eyes after wheelchair planned. Olivia, are you... Hey, the two of us turned to see our parents. You two want to get going? We're gonna stop before some pizza at Dino Mo. Yeah, that's good. Olivia simply responded, both of us putting on our best fronts, nodding at the... Jesus, why are you interrupting this? Nothing happens. We just need money and one more job. Neither of us anything to blow out of our heads, give the facade. No, but why? Olivia's like, yeah, shit works out, but is she that upset about her injury? Aren't you literally working on it? Shouldn't we be a little more optimistic, babe, lady? Bon, bon, bon. Despite having a belly full of pizza, nothing could quell the unease in my stomach. I quietly walked behind Olivia, rolling herself to her room before opening a door, turning around to see that I was still standing there. You walked! You are not standing! You're not breeding standing. She knew that I wanted to talk. A wish granted by her with a heavy sigh, she allowed... Why? Why did you interrupt this conversation then? I know that it's not realistic for them to have this fucking heartfelt confession in a fucking walkway, but you could start the confession at home, or you can have it there. It doesn't fucking matter. It's a story you wrote. You're allowed to be weird with it. Why did you build this fucking... Like, if you upload this as separate chapters, okay, fine. It's a bit of a cop-out, but fine. But it's not. It's one big upload. There is no suspense. There's just... What? Like, it works in the moment, but then you're like, oh, okay? There's no page turn. I don't understand. You said you love Naser. I do. Then why? Why break both of your hearts like this? Because I'm not good enough for him. The words felt like an icicle pricked through my scales. Unbelieving what I just heard from her. From my own sister. And worst of all, it sounded like something I would have thought before I made that promise. Fuck you! You haven't kept that promise at all! I heard the Anon who wanted to be a nobody, who wanted to be a nothing from which I am something. You can't do a title drop twice, Anon, especially not when it's forced as that. Jesus, man. Ooh. That force broke my limbs, so forced it is. You're not... Why would you think that? Come on, Anon, are you seriously asking that? Look at me. She gestured down at her legs and the wheelchair and everything. I'm in a wheelchair. So you really think the way I am now I can be with Naser? He's a track star. He runs for a living. Don't you see the poetic irony? Kind of. I can't date him. Narratively speaking, I'll lose my arms or something next. Or he will. I'll be the arms and he'll be the legs, and that's just how it goes. Yeah, you can be with him. You're just not getting it. Then help me get it, Olivia! I know these past years have been damn tough for you, but you haven't done so well for yourself. Yet hearing you now, I don't think you've ever beaten yourself down like this. What changed? I realize Naser deserves the best after everything he's been through. Then why doesn't Naser deserve the kind, insightful, and reserved? Reserved is not a compliment, Anon, in this context. He met and fell in love with in 7th grade. Well, just simple. You can't assume what he needs. Anon, he needs dick. And I'm a girl. You need to satisfy him for me. What? I'm sorry, Anon. But you need to learn about a genre of porn that no man ever wants to be part of. The gay love triangle. Ah, sizzle fritz. Ah, shucks. But that's what you've been doing this entire time, Olivia. None of this makes any sense. There was a moment of pause between us. Silence. She was the one who broke. Get out. Olivia, I'm in the hallway. I can't get out. Oh no, she did go into the room. I skipped that part. I mean, it would be funnier if they were in the fucking hallway and she said, get out of the house. Yes. It would be funny, but it also doesn't fit. I never said it did. I was taken aback. Not once in my entire life had Olivia told me to leave her room. Not even when she was getting nude and I was being very awkward about it. Hell, she didn't tell me to leave when she needed to get sterile so she could perform an autopsy on herself. I don't get that girl sometimes. This is what's gonna make her do it? Seeing her scowling and scrutinizing gaze put me in that place of shock and dread. The place of knowing that someone you loved currently hated your guts at the moment. Again. Bleh! I sat up from the bed, moving past her and toward the door, just thinking, how? How had it come to this? And it was after Olivia spoke again that I gained some clarity. She was still looking at her bed, trying to assure me or herself. It's the best choice. For Naser, and for me. I stood, staring at a closed door, thinking of my past life and the amount of times I thought I was making the best choice, despite taking the worst course of action. The amount of times I thought like some mouth breather, I thought, oh yeah, I did my best, and watching everything go to shit until it truly bit me in the ass. That's a lot of butt metaphors, buddy. Butty. My claws dug into the middle class of the sliding door. Anon, stop damaging my door, fuck! Dad's gonna kill you! Sometimes the best is just not good enough. I opened the door and left the room without... Yes! Ending one, Anon. Leave her alone in her despair. Now is the time. Don't fight her emotions or support her. Fuck off! Learn nothing. I opened the door and left Olivia's room without another word, leaving me standing idly in the hallway. And for once, I was completely and utterly lost on what to do. I just couldn't understand why. There was always so much tragedy in her life, so much pain and loss. Why was she adding more to it? Well, you know, some people think they don't deserve it, and so they deny themselves nice things and attract bad things. And then they justify future decisions on that process having already happened. For a moment, I felt the urge to return back in, argue that what she said was wrong, that Naser and her could be together, that she deserved to be happy, but for once, I didn't feel like I was up to the task. Neither did I think it was a good idea to try again. I mean, admittedly, I kind of like the idea that he's realized that, oh, actually doing this is kind of hard. Now I could probably relate to what Naser went through with Fang. Oh, hell. Now there's an interesting plot line I haven't even considered. Parallels. Parallelograms. I like them. I love them. In a daze, I found myself back in the living room, Mom standing on her tippy toes as she struggled to reach one of the top shelves. With Dad missing in action, probably busy in the garage, And if you're really such a cool guy, wouldn't you help your mom instead of having her ask you? Jesus. Show some initiative. You're 30. Ugh. I'm an adult good boy, but I'm going to wait for my mom to ask me for help first. Runs off on Olivia, doesn't take care. He's really out of it. This man is going to fail. This is how you get ending one Anon. I'm just here to remind you. Quietly, I walked up to the bookshelf, easily reaching a claw up to grab the album. However, a few pages flapped open, revealing a very convenient photo from so long ago. Olivia and me in Dino Land when we were still in kindergarten. I remember as if it was yesterday. How happy of a goober I was. Mainly because I never really had a chance to have a child in my past life. Olivia, though the guy looked freaked out. Probably because of the encroaching mascot off screen. Her eyes wide, arms clutching mine in fear. Gaze focused away from the lens. That picture must be about 12 years old now. I looked up to see Mom with a gentle smile. Taking the album from my claws to hold it, turned the page to reveal more pictures of our brief visit to vacation at Dino Land. One being the four of us on a roller coaster, taking it from an on-ride camera. Everyone seemed thrilled, while I put up the most stony impasse face I could, having done so after noticing the camera at the peak of the ride. You remember how we laughed when we saw the screen at the end? Yeah! There we were, leaving the park. Dad carrying a sleeping Olivia against his shoulder with me walking alongside them. I couldn't help but overhear some arguing coming from Olivia's room. How did you know it was Olivia's room? Why don't you just say upstairs? Is everything okay? Olivia's thinking about dropping it. No, Olivia's thinking about breaking up with Naser. Is more what she's doing, because there's an implicit relationship. Even though she loves him. Says it's for the best since she can't walk, and I just don't understand how she can think like that. Mom seemed unaffected or unsurprised, and said, I honestly believe mascot designed to it on purpose. It's a marketing technique. Is that so? Give me that other album and let's take a seat. Oh God, we're just doing. Hold on, hold on. We're gonna fast forward through this because I don't like where this is going. Oh no, she's doing a fucking. Let's talk about let's do some apsioms, I guess. What do I call it? Eopsis? Aesiops. One of those things. But fighting a lot on the ground. Quickly grew up. Didn't want to at first. Sometimes you gotta let go. Wasn't ready to keep. What the fuck are you talking about? Why aren't you telling this to Olivia? And assuring her that what she's doing is the right decision. Like, supporting Olivia as being like, okay, listen, if you really feel that way, like, if you genuinely feel that way, then you should make that decision. Why are we telling this to Elle? Because Anon's the protagonist and we can't switch POVs, even though Olivia's the... Jesus. Father never had any pictures, but he does have one from the Pangea invasion. Here it is. And war paint, wearing the jacket I currently wore in Dark Aviators. But I suppose there was a bunch of characters. You wonder what we got? We got Alex Mason. Fucking Alex Mason! Yeah, this really isn't about letting go. Anon isn't letting go, is the problem. We got Brocodile. His name is actually Brock Samson. How the fuck do you get a name like Brock Samson with 2 Ks? Imagine if you had a K for a last name. That'd be terrible. Everyone would mock him for that one. Why are there sensibots on their eyes? I like how he didn't point that... Oh. I like how this wasn't pointed out beforehand. Your father added those bars from national security. Edward can be so dramatic sometimes as he talks about the nuclear armament codes. Personally, I think of Alec Mason from Red Faction when I hear that name. You know, from Red Faction, Gorilla. There was a fucking movie about Red Faction? Oh. Wah, wah, wah. I like how in the middle of this character moment we just start establishing stuff. After the war, working as he always asked for decaf. Smooth moves, Dad. No, that's what a stalker does. Although, admittedly, if he was actually there for the decaf, that's cute. But if he wasn't there for the decaf, that's just kind of creepy. Sorry to tell you, buddy, but this situation is hard to salvage. I guess that's why he says smooth moves, because Anon might have learned a lot about life, but he probably hasn't learned a lot about actually dating people, considering he's dated once, and it was a fucking mess. He's quite talkative, curious, blah blah. Romantic getaway. Please, Mom, don't tell me about the sex you had to have me. He said things couldn't work out between us. Aww, his gerb. Where's Reznov? You said yes, and I left without a word. I suppose it was for the time. Decaf all over his clean suit. I mean, if she's trying to teach that, you know, if sometimes you gotta say no to yourself to realize that yes is the answer you want. You know, the old trick of, like, make a decision and if you hate it, you know you wanted the other choice. You know, that kind of stuff. But I don't know why you need this entire story for that. That being said, it is a cute character moment. I don't know why it took this long to have some fucking stuff with their parents to do, but hey, you got something. There you go. Oh no. They were having the adult hugs. I like how your mother is this bad with this, that she's like, oh shit, I should have mentioned that. The reason I'm telling you this, Anon, is always wear rubber. Really? All that to tell me to use a condom? Yeah, I think it's important. I can't say for certain why Olivia thinks the best is to let Naser go. Perhaps with so much loss in life, she feels a way to avoid more of it. Yeah, that's fair enough. I still don't know why you're not talking to Olivia about this. I mean, you're explaining this to Anon, who's like an adult, in a way that feels kind of childish, if anything. I don't know, it's a really weird thing. It really feels like she should have a conversation with Olivia first, and then come to Anon with the conclusions. Instead of just making brash assumptions about all this. But it's not bad. I've seen worse. The problem is, this stuff is kind of leaning towards the whole soulmate thing, which I know is a trope in this stuff, but it's a trope I hate. Give me some chemistry. Give me a sense that these characters would be together because, well, they're great, you know? You're not gonna find a better one. Not soulmates, but like, And here's your dad of a job in Cuba during the Bay of Pigs invasion in Castro's compound. If you squeeze enough, you can see him in the background. Oh, wow, there he is. Man, those are some really small sensor bars. Yeah. He always said he loved those the most. He said the big ones are a bit tacky. How can there be more than meant to be? Meant to be is like a god says it's gotta happen, buddy. I don't know if you can make anything more than that. You know, not only God said it should happen, but even Satan was like high-fiving God and Jesus going, yeah, this has gotta be, buddies. Or as a certain obvious captain said, love with your heart, but do all the other thinking with your brain mass. Anon thinks too much. I mean, like, the thing is, maybe it's just wasn't meant to be, you know? They love each other, but Olivia's beginning to realize there's cracks in the relationship outside of that. Like, she can't stand how he is about her disability, or she just realizes she doesn't really love people all that much, and it's starting to weaken, like the honeymoon's over. You know, like, there's a lot you can do with this, really. But, you know, stories like these never go, but the characters don't love each other. Which, by the way, is why, I don't know if it's going to be the final draft, but the Olivia exchange student thing strongly implies that Olivia is at least interested in Liz, and at the end it's like, nah, not going to happen, buddy. It's just not practical. It just wouldn't work. Perhaps I was... Are you triggered, Snowflake? Olivia was too much like me, but then gave me hope. I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's fighting their own battles, Anon. Shouldn't you be remembering that every second of the day? Is that one of great-grandpa's advice? No, I just read that from... Do you know what a meme is? Wouldn't they call it a meme? Why would someone look at meme and go, it's meme? Why would the E at the end be an A? Also, just for context... His parents should know what a meme is, considering Anon exists. Also considering the time they're in. I don't know. The fact they've avoided this is just very impressive, really. After trying to find where to begin explaining. A meme is just a running gag. That's how you explain it. It's a running gag on the internet. That's it. You're done. That's all they need to know. But it's shared between strangers. That's it. You're done. I don't know why I gotta complicate it. Your mom knows what a fucking running gag is. She watches TV. Hell, those things existed back then. It's just that internet memes didn't exist, because the internet didn't exist. But memes, conceptually, have always existed in the way that we conceive of them now. They've just looked a little different. They felt a little different. But they were there. They still existed. Just like the academic term meme. Yeah, you're talking about the academic sense of memes, which are about like personal beliefs that are held very tightly. Mimetic warfare is a dangerous thing to engage with because it is extremely effective if you do it right. You also never have to shoot anyone because they'll just agree with you. Olivia was painting. Oh shit, we're gonna have a chit chat. Oh shit, we're ending the chapter here. Oh no, we're not doing that. Okay. He goes, oh man, no matter what decision you make, I'll be at your side. I like how you needed to be told to do that. What a weird chapter. Had potential, fucking squandered it. Of course, all the comments are, man, this is the best shit ever. Born to be just losers. I mean, you were the B squad, man. There's a lot of fan art below this one. Although, they're very weird. What the fuck is that? I guess they're like the side characters given form. Oh yeah, I get it. That was you playing? Oh, that's where that comes from! The Olivia and them shouting. I'll turn their shins into was-were. Lunch is $149.99. Free food. I mean, that's a good one. Man, the whole... Wait, is this... Oh, this is a double notes section. Oh, I guess you can only put this in the body, then. Well, we got Tracy coming back, I guess. We'll see what it turns into next time, because it sounds like things are taking a downturn. But I know this story doesn't it's because everything's always happy, so... Well, that was a wash. On the plus side, it was a short wash. So on the plus side, I didn't waste a lot of my time, and I got the rest of my evening to myself. But man, what a hot dumpling. Let's see, how long is the next one if I erase all the stuff I don't care about, aka all the blank spaces? It's manageable. We could probably do that next stream in just one fell swoop. Alright, well, we'll do that next time. I'm not that interested. Like I said, it sets stuff up, but at this point, the problem is, like, it ended on, like, a negative cliffhanger, right? Because now it's like, Anon's okay with whatever happens, so I don't give a shit. Because I don't really care about this couple. They're cute. And the whole thing is set up in such a way that they're going to come back together. It's like, okay, then what are you really doing? What are you cliffhangering? What is the cliffhanger? Because you already laid it out. Anon doesn't care. So, like, from the protagonist, I'm just saying, it's a bit weak of an ending. Well, I do think that one thing is clear is that when this guy writes less and he keeps his chapters concise and a bit more focused, on the plus side, I don't get as mad. It's not as agitating to deal with, you know. I want to say something funny, like, but I don't know if I got anything funny to say. And as my dad always used to say, if you got nothing to say, don't say it. Because there's nothing.